Good morning, myself Vaitidi from AML Bench third year, and my assignment one is about implement incremental model updates in an agile environment. And the next slide, introduction. Here, agile practices enable faster delivery, early feedback, and adaptability to change. And incremental updates ensure smaller, manageable releases instead of one large lunch. And our main focus is about benefits, challenges, and steps for applying the incremental model updates. And the next slide is why incremental model updates matters. Here, it delivers a smaller function pieces for a quicker feedback and risk reduction, and prioritize high value features and encourages experimentation in ML projects. And mainly, it enables teams to adapt rapidly to evolving data and user behavior. And the next slide is conceptual foundations, incremental with iterative in agile. Here, incremental development, breaking down in small and usable parts that add functionality. And the purpose of iterative is repeat design and implement and evaluate and refine cycles. And here, Agile blends both to deliver working software while continuously improving the methodologies. And the next slide is simplification for model updates. Here, update model in small, deploy improvements rather than large overhauls. Validate assumption and collect feedbacks after each releases, and refine the performance and adapt architecture through multiple iterations. And the next slide is applying incremental model updates in agile projects. Here, define the model boundary represents and ensures each increment adds value. And using agile backlogs with user stories tied to model increments, and prioritize increments that bring the most values or reduce the most stresses. And this is the methodology of how we will be applying the incremental model in agile projects. Collecting the new data and pre-processing that data, and that means cleaning and validating, and increment model update. And then we will be evaluating the model performance, and we will be deploying the model using CI and CD pipeline, and then monitor model. The next slide is development and deployment workflow.
Hello, Ajay.
Here, sprint planning. Select model increment stories and define acceptance criteria, that may be accuracy target and design experiment. Here for ML models, this may include prototype and quick experiments. And implementation, build the model, change, integrate with system and write code test. And testing and validation ensures for software features like unit test integration, and test on whole set data and data drift detection, fairness checks. And deployment releases the increment. Users release strategies. It can be blue green if needed. And feedback and monitoring. Monitor model behavior. Gather user feedback and data logs. And retrospective respects to agile retrospective assess what went well and what to improve. And especially for model update, for example, experiments turned out wrong, data unavailable, integration glitch, it will be recognized, and it specifies. And refine backlog based on the result, it adjusts the next incremental backlog. And continuous integration and continuous delivery, that is CI/CD for models. Have pipelines for automated testing and deployment of models and software increments. Using version models for model artifacts and data features, so it can roll back if needed. And the next slide is metrics monitoring and feedback. Here, choose the right metrics for model updates and incremental delivery. You should monitor. The main factors are lead time, delivery frequency, model performance metrics, business user metrics, operational metrics. Here, lead time specify time for story or task creation, that is increment deployment. And delivery frequency, how often you release model increments. And The model performance metrics represent accuracy, precision call, and MSC depending on use case, and operational metrics latency, availability, model drift, and feedback loops. Here, stakeholders that may be user feedback, user interviews, surveys, and A/B testing results, and data feedback logs of model prediction versus actual thing that it analyzes the errors, and team feedback from retrospectives, deployment impediments, experiment outcomes that would be joined with the team feedback, and using feedback before next increment to prioritize what to build and update the next in agile project. The next slide is about challenges and pitfalls plus with mitigation strategies. Here common challenges are over chunking, under planning architecture, model versioning and integration pain, feedback ignorance. Here the main thing is mitigation with clear definition of done architecture, planning, CI/CD discipline, and mandatory feedback loops and backlog grooming, maintain project quality. And the conclusion, your conclusion, implementing incremental model updates within an agile environment allows you to deliver value early and validate assumption, adapt as you learn, and
conclusion
scale
hacking conclusion.
risk efficiently. By combining incremental with iterative approaches, you align with agile principles for ML AI systems and full stack apps like ours. This means structuring your backlog pipelines,
ಯಾರಾಗ್ಯಾರ
planning
ಬ್ಯಾಕ್
and to support frequent measurable updates. Here, in subjective of the summary of our assignment is to incremental model updates align perfectly with agile principles, and they ensure early value delivery and adaptability with reducing risk, and combining incremental and iterative methods to lead continuous improvements. And thank you, sir.